Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Mordechai. Welcome all the guests. We have a bunch. All the way from Yerushalayim. What's your name? Ryan. Lifshitz. Am I allowed to say your friend's name? Hoodie Newman, all the way. Listen, Rabbi Sai, he flew in. He just got off the plane, literally. Came from the airport. He's flying back 6 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So Yishkoyach, thank you for coming. Wow. You have a lot of good friends here. Zalman Twersky made. What do you make for him? I'm not saying. Some surprises. So I hope you didn't eat in a week. Yishkoyach for coming. It's a big, big chizuk. Yishkoyach, Dr. Dauber for coming. It's a big, big chizuk. Where is he? Oh, he left for a second. He is. Oh, he's hiding. I don't see you. Who else is here? Oh, Mr. Tischler from London, but previously from Massachusetts, Boston. Very nice. We have more guests than Mishkoyach. I need to talk a little bit about Kidushin. We're going to go crazy about Kidushin. We got to bring our friends back. We're going to concentrate on all the people that have been part of this year and they left. I already made my first call and I got a no. He's a guy who loved it, was so into it, bought me a silver washing cup for over $1,000. He fell out in the Yavamas. He's like, I don't know. I want to, I don't know. He didn't give me a yes yet. We're going to get him. But the oil has to come back. We have to do everything we can to get them back. And Yossi Klein is doing this giant barbecue in his backyard. He's going to bring a bunch of people together to make phone calls just to get those guys back. A lot of them know how good it was and how much it changed their life. And they fell off for whatever reason. Doesn't mean you have to leave forever. Come back. Kidushin is a tremendous mesechta. What are you going to bring some friends? That's it. You got to bring some guys back. Kidushin. Everybody loves Kidushin. All right, so the emails I'm showing today have to do with Kidushin. This is from Abba Rennert, which Erev Shabbos, somebody knocked on the door and gave me a bottle of Castel 2016 from Abba Rennert. He has a very large heart, this guy. Since we spoke in Hunter regarding the idea of getting old Chavim to rejoin themselves to Kidushin, I was thinking, well, what can we do to help on a larger scale? I saw that MDY England has a program. They're going crazy also on Kidushin. They have beautiful ads. They have different ideas. He says, anybody that joins and stays until the end of Kidushin goes into a raffle for a free flight to Eretz Yisrael from England. I believe it's 2 raffles in England. England to Eretz Yisrael, 2 for the guy that joins and 2 for the guy that brought the person in. Another raffle one who brought them in this year. If you approve, I would like to sponsor the same for people everywhere else. 2 round trip tickets to Eretz Yisrael up to $1,500 each, $3,000 for both. Either one big... If this is something you feel would help, please let me know. Where should I send the money? Unless you feel it would help the shir, it should be anonymous. You hear, Hody? Anonymous. With appreciation. No, it helps the shir. Of course it helps the shir. Abba Rennert. And this is on the status of Hillel. Let me see. It was, I think it was Hillel's. It's the time of the year when we can use our WhatsApp status to bring thousands more close to Torah. Just in time for the new Masechta and close the screenshot for one person's status yesterday. I don't know what that is. But anyway, I hope there's... Oh, that's it? No. This is supposed to move. Here we go. Hello, everyone. Perfect Masechta to start. I know you wanted to start Daf Yomi. I know. This is your opportunity. We're not going to have another Masechta like this in a very, very long time. Perfect timing right before Yom Tov. You could catch up with Chalamayit. I'm telling you, you're not going to regret this. It's going to change your life. This is the ad that they have in England. Make them possible.
Good morning, everybody. This is a message for anyone who's not part of the share. You should be joining the coming
Status works for Boy Sai.
Because you should be learning Torah every day, and it's going to give tremendous. It's going to give you your whole life's going to change if you learn Torah every day.
Stop the share just for this message, Boy Sai.
And it's going to go on Rebelli's status because Rebelli loves the status.
I love status. I've never done status twice in my life. Once was by mistake.
Rabbi Yaakov was walking on what now is Refuah Shlema, and they've just installed.
This is going to be over in a second.
Don't
worry about it.
So he says, Rebbe, what are you staring at? You're impressed by this new lamp? He said, no. I just learned the big Musar Haskell I want to share with you.
16 days left till takeoff. Kidushin! All right, Rabbi Isai. Bring your friends back. The call is sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood, Shalema, Esther, Bas, Bela. Themselves sponsored by Moshe Banda. Thank Hashem, and I really thank Him for everything that I have. I bought another camera, a nice camera for, like we had yesterday, the email from I forgot who it was, maybe Shavsikon also, who said that this camera, the tiny little camera that comes with the computer, is better than all the cameras we had. Bought another camera. I saw the guy deliver it on Shabbos, and somehow it made it into my house right away. And Motzei Shabbos, I opened up the torn open bag that it came in, and all it came was with a camera stick, a little plastic stick. Somebody took the $400 camera out of the bag, and I know that it was delivered like that. So one day we'll get another camera. When they already said they're going to send another one, but they said they don't steal stuff in Lincolnwood. I don't know what's going on. No, but it wasn't in Lincolnwood. Like the guy who delivered it stole it. How did they have like a little X-ray thing? They know what's inside. That was the only package that was open. The parnassa chodesh, Nishma Zechariah ben Moshe, parnassa chodesh, Bracha ad lidai, and all my endeavors, Baruch, Tzvi, Nissim, ben Shoshana, Leah. Third parnassa chodesh, Dr. Avrum Epstein, a memory of the third yahrzeit of his beloved Raiza Gitl Zeav. Parnassa chodesh number 4, Mordechai ben Esther for complete Refuah Shlema b'Korev, Amen. Parnassa Shavua, last day, Ari Stawis, Refuah Shlema, for Leah bas Gitel and segulah for continued parnassa. Parnassa Yoim, happy anniversary, Avital Akilov. Yeah, it's Akilov. Thank you for encouraging me to learn. Love, Pinkhas. The second sponsor, by Pinkhas Akilov. Thank you, Rav Eli and team, for giving me the ability to be a Talmid Chakham. By Mordechai Sapoznick, in honor of my birthday, thank you, Hashem, for another year of life. Shidduch B'Karov. Simcha Leah Weichbrod. Leah Nishmas, Yaakov ben Chaim Gavriel on his 8th yahrzeit, and Shalom should have an Aliyah. Refuah Shlema for Esther Miriam bas Chava Fegosh Tichi al Arichas Yomim. Refuah Shlema for Avram Elio ben Chaya. We are rooting for your clear vision. And by Yoeli Doppelt, in honor of my daughter's wedding tonight at Ferris Rivka in Borough Park, big buffet. Remember, he had this video and he invited the whole Olam. The art of the month for a complete refuah for Chaim Tzvi ben Leah. Rabbi Isai, we are holding on the bottom of Ayin Vav Amud Beis. I just want to say this. First of all, a tremendous ishkoyach to Mark Ashkenazi, who's been online every single day since I got here, and it's difficult. And every single day we had another technical difficulty. Every single day. Right now, he's on a plane to Eretz Yisrael. So Avram Cohen had to get up in the middle of the night for them. It's 2:00 in the morning. I had to get up. It's very hard to get up unless you're a doctor. You know what it is to get up and go back to sleep. Difficult to Yishkach to Avrami and all the staff that works countless hours, including Yosef, with all the crazy hours that we have here, and he has to edit it. He gets up at 3, 4 in the morning these days just to edit. So Yishkach to him. And I missed an opportunity yesterday, but I'll say it now. It was Jack Reichenbach's yahrzeit last week, and in Camp Matzav they had this beautiful stained glass that Yitzi found basically in the garbage. As it was throwing out, he said, "What? They're going to throw this out?" And he took it and he made it part of the Aron Kodesh. I just want to tell you something that Jack Reichenbach told me personally. I believe I was touring the, what is it called? Bate. What is it called? He used to own the nursing home in Yerushalayim. The whatever it's called. What? Tuvia, right? Tuvia here. I don't know if he still owned it, whatever. He doesn't. So he told me this. He said that, I forgot his brother-in-law's name. You know his brother Schwartz? What was his name? Was it Klein? Yeah. I think that's who it was. He said that him and his brother-in-law were in Kailo when he lived in Matisdorf or something like that. They were in Kailo, and they looked at each other and they said, if we earn $500 a week, we will never leave Kailo. That's what he told me that they said between each other. And then he looked at me and he was laughing. $500. Like a minute wasn't enough. Like, what's five? You're at a point, you're a Kyle guy. It's like, oh, if I just earned $500 a week, wow. And then, you know what I mean? But he became a tremendous, from the biggest Bali Tzedakah here in the city, and he's very, very missed. He had almost this, and he was also the president of the Torah Masorah, etc., etc. And his son is a big Rosh Kollel here in the neighborhood, and his other son is a Marbis in this room, actually. His other son, Chaim, gives a shir right over here every single morning. His tremendous kids, and the Neshama should have an aliyah. Omar Abaya. Hakol moedim, heicha do Omar lekisheteitzi chamam in artika. So, this is not what I was looking for. Let's see. No, also not. Oh, this is what I was looking for. Just not in order today. Great. Im loy basi, we had in the Mishnah yesterday. A little confusing, but not the end of the world. Two cases, the same exact case, just the wording is reversed. We had im loy basi, if I don't come, ad yud beis chodesh, if I don't come for 12 months, then kisvut nu, and then I might be saying it earlier, but it's fine. Kisvut nu, or the other case, write and give, im loy basi ad yud beis chodesh. Omar Abai. I am divorcing you when the sun rises. I remember reading somewhere, I might be wrong, that teenager who started World War I, that Austrian kid or whatever, same nationality as Yimach Shemoinik, who started World War II, or killed 6 million Jews. This teenager, when they caught him, they said, okay, they're going to hang him. What's your last wish? He said, I want to see the sunrise. And this is a Ma'aseh Shaya. I say the joke, a guy wants to see watermelon, he wants to see sunrise. And so they said, okay, fine. They'll delay it until the morning. And then overnight, he befriended different Austrians. They said he did a deal. I don't think he's ever punished, this guy. But I want to see the sun. That's when you're divorced. Then it's certainly when the sun comes out. And if he dies beforehand, at the night, before the day, before the sun comes out, so Mela, in our Mishnah also, we don't say in our Mishnah, you say, well, if it says a certain time in the get, then it proves that he wanted to divorce her earlier. No. Why? Because he said, this is a get if I don't come for 12 months. So Mela, just like over here, if a person says, when the sun comes out, when I come back in 12 months. So we don't say, says Rashi, we don't say in this case that that you look at the date inside the shtar, and that's when the get is. Now, almanas sheteitzacham minartika, but if the guy says almanas on condition that the sun will come out. Now, that's a very funny almanas because the sun will come out. It's like 100%. Almanas sheteitzacham minartika me'achshav k'amar lo. Why? So that's the famous Rebbe. We had it in Rebbe. Over here, I guess on the side, there's a gear side I didn't even see, but okay. Yeah, tzarech lema Rebbe. If a person uses those words, almanas, on condition, he means immediately, right now. And then you just have to fulfill the condition. So if you remember, this is a chart I did, I don't know, a week ago or so, that the word im could have two meanings. It can mean if, im mati, if I die. It could also mean when. So if he uses the word mehayim or miachshav, and then he sticks in the word im, so then it has another meaning. It means when, not if. Very different. So but that's the machlokes here. Ella be'im teitze. Ma'ar sov yoisi dom zman shtar machiyachalov. You look in the star and there's a date, and I know that he meant retroactive. Then it's as if he said when. Right now, it should start right now and end then. In other words, it goes retroactive. Mar loy sovak Rabbi Yosi, and the other one doesn't hold Rabbi Yosi. Imati greda. If you just say the two words im mati, then it's if, not when, and therefore it's not a get. Okay, now we're holding by that one, the better one. The two things in the Mishnah. So the two cases of a guy says, if I don't come, the first case, if I don't come in 12 months, then write and give the get. What happens if they wrote the get within the 12 months? That's what the Mishnah discusses. The other cases, same exact thing basically, but he reversed the words. He said, kisvutnu, write and give the get. So maybe perhaps he meant write it now. Give it later. So it's slightly different because he said the word kisvu in the beginning of the sentence. Perhaps Rabbi Yossi argues. He says, no, if the guy who writes the get, it doesn't matter when he writes the get. He's not obligated to listen to the exact language of the husband. He writes the get. The question is the giving of the get. Says Gemara, pasul. Should have said, if I don't come, write utnu. And he said, writing first. This is what he meant. Write the get right now. And then the giving should be afterwards. It doesn't matter how he says it, it's all the same. If a person says, I want you to be divorced after Shemitah, what does after Shemitah mean? The day after Shemitah, the week after Shemitah, the month after Shemitah, or the year after Shemitah? Says the Gemara, Shana. It means after the 8th year, because when a person says Shemitah, he's referring to the 8th year also. What if he says, La'achar Shana? Now, Stam, what would everybody say? When a person is, we learned if a person is in Shemitah and he says after Shemitah, he means a year later. What if he's on the last day of Shemitah? Last day of Shemitah, and he says after Shemitah. What does he mean? The same thing? It's a year later or tomorrow? I don't know. I kind of thought maybe it means tomorrow. Taisa says no. There's like loy plug, it doesn't matter. Okay, fine. But a guy says, Shana, I want to divorce you in a year. I'm sorry, la'achar shana, after a year. Chodesh. So you have to wait 13 months, a whole month. La'achar chodesh, if a person says, I want to divorce you after a month, Shabbos. He has to wait a month and a week. La'achar Shabbos, if he says, I want to divorce you after a week, my Yosef, or after Shabbos, Yosef Reb Zeri kamei de Rebasi, Baril Rebasi kamei de Reb Yochanan, Bekomar. Chad b'Shabo utrei utlasa. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Basar Shapsa. That always goes after Shabbos. Arba v'chamsho mali Shapsa. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday goes by the next Shabbos. Just see here, 1 second. Kami Shapsa. So, first of all, the joke. They say, what is the difference between a yeshiva bacher and a married guy? A yeshiva bacher eats cholent Thursday, Friday, Shabbos. A married guy eats cholent Shabbos, Sunday, Monday. You already knew where the joke was going. Okay. But Arizal, and I saw it in other places also, says that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is the diminishing light of Shabbos. So you have the Kidushin of Shabbos, and Sunday, Shabbos gets less, Monday even less, and Tuesday less. But they belong to the Shabbos before. When do we say L'chun and Ranan on Shir Yom? Wednesday. Because we're getting ready. Now we're starting Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're getting ready for the next Shabbos. In fact, the halacha is that you can make Avdallah all the way, the Ramah Paskins, and Avdallah all the way to Tuesday. What about Melav and Malka? There's a whole Nidan. Okay, different time. So the Ramban says that you can be Mekayim the mitzvah every single day. Not so to get to the sugi, but you can Mekayim the mitzvah of Zachar Yom Shabbos Lekadshoy. On Sunday, you can be Mekayim it when you say Shir Shel Yom. Hayom Yom Rishon B'Shabbos means we are one day away from Shabbos, so you're remembering Shabbos. That it's Shabbos, but it's a diminished light. Okay. So that's basically what the Gemara is saying here. That when a person says, I'm going to give you the get, after Shabbos, he means I have to wait for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, because that belongs to Shabbos. Just like a year, the whole 8th year belongs to Shemitah. We're still, I think there's still halachas of Shemitah now in Israel. Different fruits, this, that, Tubav, tomorrow. When's Tubav? Tomorrow night. It's part of Arla for sure, part of Shemitah, I believe also. Says Gemara. So therefore, Chad Shabbat Trade Plasa Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Basa Shabsa, Arba Chamsha, Mali Shabsa, Kami Shabsa. That has to do with the coming Shabbos. Tayi Rebbe Yomer, Lachar Regel. If a person says, I'm divorcing you after Yantif. Let's just have Yantif, the kids are here, let's enjoy Yantif together. Divorce is after Yantif. What happens? Shloshim Yom. It's Pesach plus 30 days. Sukkot plus 30 days. Novak Reb Chia, Darshim Shmei the Rebbe, Bikalsua, when he said over this halacha that you wait 30 days after Yantiv, he said in the name of Rebbe, Rabbeinu HaKadosh. He said, Givaldik. But once he said Shmei the Rabbim, he tried to say that a lot of people agreed to it, but they didn't give him any kind of honor and shvach, because they didn't believe that the halacha is like that. You say it in the name of Rebbe, great, but don't say that that's the halacha. Hadran alach misha chazai, Hadran alach misha chazai, Hadran alach misha chazai. It's not over. You can't go home now. Hazari get lishtoi, says the Eli Mishnah. We're going to be discussing halachas of throwing things or throwing the get. You throw the get at your wife. You're so fed up with her, you just throw it. Vihi b'soich beisa. She has a house from Nissim Belug. Here's Nissim Belug, if you want to remember. Nissim Belug means she comes in with this tree or property or whatever it is, and she's married to that clown on top. So the tree belongs to her. The gufat tree belongs to her. The fruit and everything else belongs to him. So she's in a house that belongs to her. The principal belongs to her, but the usage of the house, the rent of the house, the ability to use the house belongs to the husband. She's in her chotzer. It's not really hers now. It's his. He has the usage. Nevertheless, since she owns the principal and he threw it into her property, she owns it. The Gemara is going to discuss how that works. But what if she has nothing to do? It's his house. It's his courtyard. It's referring to the get, even though the get is with her in the same bed. It's not her house. He throws it into her lap, or into her basket. She's in her husband's house, but he throws it into the basket that she's holding in her hand, into her purse. Okay, that's her shus. You can't say, well, you're in his house. The purse is hers. Says Gemara, how do we know they could throw it into a chat? You have to put it in her hand. I wanted to show the Olam what our art looked like before Yoshi showed up on the scene.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that?
Yeah.
People, they were okay with it. It was better than what was on the market then. I'm kind of embarrassed of it. That's, I did it by myself, freehand. I remember drawing on the computer screen, and it wasn't so. That's what we had. but that's a karfaf. That's a chotzer and a gag. This was actually a picture taken from, he was nifter, what's the name? He drew with his pencil. He gave me, I spoke to the author. Something Chai, Pirush Chai. Pirush Chai, very good. This is from Pirush Chai. This is in Erevin. And we had 700 plus pictures in Erevin. And you know what? I believe we had already Kol Al then. Beautiful pictures, computerized. But for this, I felt that, whatever. There wasn't a good one. Here's all three. Gag is a roof. Chotzer, we know, is like a backyard, front yard. Karfav is an enclosed area. So how do you know that if he throws it into her gag, her chotzer karfav, it's a good get? Talmid loymar v'nasa mikol malkam. Rashi says that midloy ksiv ubiyada yitnenu, says Rashi. It should have said a different lashon. Fine. Point is, we have a pasuk that teaches us it works. The same halacha applies by a thief. Yadai, ein li ela yadai. Here's the pasuk. You find the gneva in his hand. You have to pay kefil. You have to find the gneva in his hand, only his hand. What about how do you know? How do you steal something with your roof, with your karfaf? So I have a picture. This has nothing to do with anything, but I figured why not? This is from yesterday in the mats of the guy's unbelievable. Yitzi, we all know Yitzi. I don't know other camps that have a little calf and some goats. I asked my son about it. He didn't know that it even existed. He was like, okay, it's a nice place. But the cow took a liking to me and what I had in my hand. The cow goes into your rishus and you slam the door shut. That's stealing without lifting up the cow. How do you know that works? Double lashon. Anywhere that you steal, any way you're able to, you stole. At the end of the day, you stole. The goat is not going back to its original owner. Why? Because you locked the door on it. You didn't lift it up. That's considered gneva. Says Gemara, I need a special pasuk by gneva. I need a special pasuk by get. The yeshmin get mishum debal karcha migarisha. I would say, you know why that works when it's not in her hand? Because I could divorce the wife against her will. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell the Olam. The reason why I called Shir early today, 6 o'clock, I appreciate it. I hate doing this and making people crazy when I'm in camp, when they hear. But today, Marty Dabber will pull out of his pocket. He'll show you July 31st. It's not my Hebrew, but that's the one that my wife celebrates. And I once didn't celebrate it. And I don't think I'll ever make that mistake again. We celebrate only English anniversary. So it's today. And Beis Hashem, so right after Shir, I'm going to be going out for a very little time because I got to spend some time with Hoodie. But at least I don't really go out to restaurants with her anymore because it's Shir Emes. It's like, it's once a year or whatever. And tonight will be the night. Okay. I'll go bottom. Shkoyach. Do not send me any gifts. Why? Because then I'm going to have to get my wife again, whatever. It's not a good idea. So Ganav, nobody's forcing him. It doesn't work by force. You can't force a cow into the Ganav's hand. The Torah only said about Ganav. I'll say, you know why the Ganav could steal just by closing a door? Because the Torah wanted to be extra stark with him. Don't do that. Maybe it shouldn't work by a woman. You have to put it in her hand. Tzricha. Okay. Chatzera. How does it work? So again, what's going on? We have a Nissim Milug. The woman, she owned this property before she even got married. As she gets married, you can do either Tzayim Barzel, Nissim Milug. We're talking about Nissim Milug. The husband gets to use all the income of the property. So how do you view the property? He could rent it out to anybody he wants. So imagine you have an apartment that the husband is in charge of all the rent. He gets all the income. Is that apartment considered the wife's or the husband's? The husband puts a get inside in the bedroom. Today you can rent it out for $100, Airbnb, and instead he put a get on the floor. Why should the wife be kainet? It's not hers. It's the principal is hers, but she has zero usage here. It's not hers to use. So why should the get be hers? Says the Gemara, something that my heilige wife did not learn in seminary. Whatever the husband owns, whatever the wife acquires, the husband acquires. They taught her, Masha kana ish, kana ishtai. Kanse ishtai. That's what they taught her. She has no idea what I'm talking about. I pulled it out once. I don't know. I can't remember anymore. It's like amnesia. Like I got beat up or something, and I don't remember when, how it was, but I remember trying to use this on her. What do you mean? Masha kanse isha kana baila. Yeah, right. Okay. Akapanim, there's a halacha that the husband is now in charge of this property and you can't use it for her good. Perhaps it's talking about a case where the husband says, I don't want to have anything to do with your nursing homes and your property. It's all yours. It's all yours. I could put it in there and you kind of. Reminds me of Yisrael Salanter when his wife bought a lottery ticket. So I think he took Adam. He says, I have nothing to do with that lottery. If you ever win, I don't want to have anything to do with it. It comes with too much, especially talking about now with the $1 billion lottery. You better buy a ticket. They don't sell it even in New York. $1 billion ticket. I just hope somebody from MDY wins it. Like, we'll see something from it. Okay. I don't want to have anything to do with it. So I have nothing to do with the Nechasim for whatever reason. There's the famous mitzvah with the Rabbi Yitzchak Elchanan from Kovna, right? The Gala Adar. Some woman went to the marketplace with a lot of money and she lost it. And a Jew found it. So he claimed that she was miyayish. Why? Because it's a city with Roiv Goyim, and nobody's going to do Hashem Saveda, and that's it. Yush. So Rabbi Yitzchak said, and she doesn't have the right to, the husband didn't even know that it was lost, so therefore it's still in the possession of the husband, you have to give it back, something like that. Okay.
Also, her yush is not even a yush.
Why? It's not hers to be miyayish, right? I think that's what he was saying. Says the Gemara, but how does that work? If you own property, your house today, could you say, oh, I don't want to have anything to do with my house? You could be mafker it. You could give it to your friend. You can't just say, I'm relinquishing my ownership of this property. It doesn't work. It's not a way to do it. It's not part of the halacha. The halacha is I could say, hefker. I could say, I'm giving it to Ruvain. You can't say, oh, I'm just giving up my ownership. I don't think it would work in America either. In non-Jewish law, it just doesn't work. I have nothing to do with Sada Zoo, with this field over here. I have nothing to do with it. My hands are removed from it. I have this in Eretz, it's very common, and especially I came back from Pesach. The pigeons had a field day on my porch. They noticed right away that there's no human being, there's no human activity. Immediately they start going to work. They start building nests over there. It's crazy. I want to be Mekayim the mitzvah of Shiluch HaKen, but it's my porch, so it's mezumah and it's all problem. It's like it's already there. You're not really Mekayim, so you have to be mafker. You have to take like 3 people and say there's hefker. You can't just say Yodi Misulekes Imena. Because of law, we're talking about he didn't even get it as nichsimilug because she was only engaged to him in the Gemara engagement. In other words, he gave her a ring. He said, "I read Kidushin, but there's no nisuin," and therefore, if he's inheriting something from a different place, so he could say, "I don't want to have anything to do with it." Not that I'm relinquishing my ownership. I don't want ownership. In other words, if I find $1 million on the floor, I could pick it up and give it to Rabbi Yisrael Salanter. I could say, I'm kind of for Rabbi Yisrael Salanter. But if Rabbi Yisrael Salanter says straight out, I don't want it. I have nothing to do with it. It's not coming into my rishos. It doesn't go into his rishos. That he could do. Amud Beis. If a person says, I don't want Chacham stakana like this, we'll see in a second. A person could say, I don't want to have anything to do with. In other words, I don't want it to come into my rishos. This is a sugi we had. So Rashi says beautifully, sticks in the word line also. The whole reason a woman is entitled to mezainis, to how do you say mezainis in English? Support. Why is a woman entitled to support? Lahana asa, for her good. So if it's for her good, so a husband has the right to take her salary. What if she's a multimillionaire? One of my sisters is a big attorney. When they got married, she was making more than six figures, and her husband's in Kailo. So the husband can't say, "Oh, give me the." She could say, "Listen, any nizaynus, I don't need your ragalach. I'll take my salary. It's up to her. She's the one that decides, not the husband." So, the husband came home from work one day, and he opens up the door. He can't believe it. The kids, instead of being asleep, they're jumping up and down on the couch. They're scribbling on the wall with markers. There's watermelon all over the floor. The place is a zoo. He looks. There's no food on the table. Nothing. So he looks at his wife and says, "What's this?" She says, "You know how you always ask me, what did you do today? What did you do today?" "Well, today I didn't do it." Any isa. I don't want to do. I don't want to do. You'll see already. You'll understand real quickly what I do. Happens to be also, Rabbi say, Mezainas is in this week's parasha. And I'm mentioning it because I tie myself again. It reminds me of your son. One of your sons, I'm not going to say which one. Happens to be related to me now. He davened Shemona Esrei here in Lincolnwood. This is many years ago. And I walked over to him after Shemona Esrei. I said, "Listen, I said this with my sincere, but it's your son. You can ask him. If you could repeat Shemona Esrei at that speed, I'll give you, I don't remember, $1,000. Like, yeah, well, of course, it took him double the amount. And he told me now, recently, he says, because of you, now I daven better, whatever, But I time myself. Birkas Hamazon took me 2 minutes. Now, I'm not saying everybody could do it that quickly and should do it that quickly, but for the point is it's not that bad. A lot of people don't wash and don't want to go. It's too much. It's like in their head, it's like 15 minutes of. It's not. It's from beginning to end. It took me 15 seconds a paragraph. Try it out. Maybe take other people 2.5 minutes. Maybe it's not the end of the world. Not so bad. Okay. So I'm not saying that people should do it. I'm just saying to calm people down, not to think that it's fine. Fine. Now what? This takana. Rava says a woman could say, "I don't want it." In other words, before it happens, before you're giving it to me, I don't want it. I don't want to accept it. So too, the husband can say, "Before I get your properties, I don't want them," and that's fine. Rav Amar. So we said before, Rabbi Loza says the second. Rabbi Loza says that what a husband can say, "I don't want your property." Says Rava, even though we used Rava, but he wasn't involved. We just used his halacha. But Rava himself says, you don't need to come on to this. And he says a beautiful thing that we're very familiar with. What do you mean? What about when you give your own wife a divorce? You put the get in her hand. Don't you have some sort of ownership? Ownership is not the right word. Jurisdiction, whatever. I don't know what the word is. You have some sort of, for kinyanim purposes, it's yours. Elo gita v'yada baim ke'echad. Here it's a yahrzeit in Shas. Gita, it should be Gita, not Gitai. Gita v'yada baim ke'echad. That the moment she acquires the get, she acquires her belongings. She has a nursing home. For the last 25 years, the husband is enjoying himself. He's the head of the nursing home. He makes all this money, blah, blah, blah. The moment she gets divorced, it becomes hers back. It becomes hers. That moment that becomes hers, the get is in the nursing home, and therefore she's able to acquire the get. But the problem is it's not a nursing home, but it happens simultaneously. She acquires the get, and therefore she acquires the nursing home, and therefore she's able to acquire the get. It happens all in the same time. Now, in yeshiva, we broke our heads over this. How's it possible? Like, it didn't happen a millisecond before, and svars back and forth. And the best pshat I ever heard was from Reb Chaim Kamil. Chaim Kamil said on this, the Bachram were like going crazy for 3 weeks. This svar like this, and this guy saying this svar and that svar. He says, just get used to it. That's how it works. Get used to it. Fine. The Rosh Hashiva of Ari Yisrael, Rabbi Yigal Rosen, he said, a famous marshal that he says like this, it's called Masmeroi v'choiroi ba'im ke'echad. When you knock a nail into the wall, what happened first? The nail went into the wall, or the hole was created? Which one happened first? The hole or the nail went into the wall? He said they both happened simultaneously. The nail and the hole happened together. Okay? So if you understand that, you can understand Gitel v'yada b'ayim ke'echad, he said. Okay. But we're doing Daf Yomi, luckily, and we don't have a lot of time to think about exactly how it works. Each on their own after shir. You're welcome to break your head on it. Gitel v'yada b'ayim ke'echad. Rashi. Rava yadi shokakashile. Rava is worried about how it works. How does a woman acquire a get? Wait a minute, right? So when you were saying this, he has ownership of her head. It's not true. You're right that the husband is entitled to her salary because it's some sort of deal that they worked out. What is she, a slave? He owns her hand. He doesn't own her hand. But a chotzer is different, says the Gemara. The chotzer, he does have ownership and usage of the chotzer and of the nursing home. But he doesn't have any ownership. He can't say he owns her hand. She's not his. Omalei Rava. Omalei Rava Yado Eve Kukashile. It's not a kasha over here. It means the proof. Rava's proof is not from a wife. Rather, his proof is from a slave that he does own a slave completely, even his hand. What? According to Madam, it says that a slave could acquire himself by putting the document of shichur into his hand. Yad Eved Kiad Rabidam. Wait a minute. How could you put a document into the slave's hand? The slave's hand is the master's hand. So you didn't put it into the slave's hand. Hello. You must say, Gitel v'yada b'ayim ke'echad. I thought it would be a cute mashal. Some people might go crazy. You know, in every show, there's the whole thing with the upper court, the this, that. So the big thing is, the way I understood it, at least, I might be completely wrong, that the upper court in Eretz Yisrael has the ability to knock down any law if they say it's not reasonable. And they don't have to explain why it's not reasonable. They just say, not reasonable, and then it's knocked down. So I was just thinking to myself, so they go ahead and they said, okay, that the upper court can do that is, we're going to knock that out. They can't do that. So what happens if the upper court rules that law that they just made is unreasonable and they knock that one out? Is it Gitel v'yada b'ayim ke'echad? Okay, whatever. Just something to think about. So the Gemara, Omali Rava Yada L'manam Epstein Yadatzmoi Yada Nami sorry L'manam Epstein Yadatzmoi Yada Yada Rabbi Dami Elo Gitel v'yada b'ayim ke'echad. It happens simultaneously. Chanami Gitel v'chatzera b'ayim ke'echad. Great. So now we have a concept in Shas, Gitel v'yada b'ayim ke'echad. It's used a bunch of times in Shas. It happens simultaneously. She acquires the get, and because she acquired the get, she's able to acquire the real estate back, and because she owns the real estate is able to acquire the get, and it all happens simultaneously. Rabbi say Maisa. This is Shchimara because of the Gitel Dvisu. The guy is dying, and he wants to make sure that his wife doesn't have to fall ibum, so he writes her a get, and of course, he does it a minute before Shabbos, and he wasn't able to give it to her. He got really, really sick the next day, and they didn't know they wanted to give the get. They didn't want it to fall ibum. So what do? The problem is like this. It's very interesting. A get, says Rashi, is muktzah. I had a hard time understanding it, but it's muktzah. Why? Because he typically can't give a get, but you could give it to her, to this guy, to her, because he's a shchimera. Okay, but a get is muktzah. So what do you do? He had a great idea. Go be makna the area where the get is. Let's say the get is in his bedroom. Give her the whole bedroom on Shabbos. You're not allowed to give something to somebody on Shabbos, but you're also not allowed to touch a get. So it's they're both bad. It's better so the people don't see and shouldn't be any. You don't want people to see that you're touching muktzah on Shabbos. He's makna. Nobody knows that he's makna the room, and that's better than touching muktzah. And then she should go, she should close the door, and then she should open the door. She make a chazaka. Why? It's not, it says in the Mishnah, no, if you lock a piece of property, Godar, there's a hole in the fence, and you repair it, paratz, you open up the fence, kolshu, even a small portion of the fence, harezu chazaka. That's how you do a chazaka. And what about the actual get? So for that, Rashi says, interesting, there's a kinyan agav. Since she acquired the real estate, so anything on the real estate becomes hers, including the metaltal and including the get. Okay? There's once a Maisa, I said it once before, that there was a brother-in-law in Russia, and this guy is dying here in Israel. And the Maisa, they didn't know what to do. If he dies, the wife falls libum. And the guy is, who knows where? We don't know where he is. He's in Russia somewhere. They went to Rabbi Yashiv. And Rabbi Yashiv, what would you do? No. Rabbi said, what would you do? Okay, so for that you need to be Rabbi Yashiv. And he said that maybe the guy that's dying, could marry a tzara. In other words, the brother's daughter, let's say. The brother in Russia has a daughter in Israel, marry her. She'll do him a favor, let him marry her, so that when he dies, so he has two wives now, and one of them is related to the brother in Russia, and therefore there's no yibum at all, and she can get married. Do them a favor, so that otherwise she'll never be able to be married again. Now in Shidduchim it's not so good. She was married until her husband died, whatever. But Azoy de Gezak. Fine. It's an interesting what?
Why not just divorce her?
Oh, because it's Shabbos.
Oh,
maybe, I think that's what.
So married
I don't know. It's a good kasha. That was the story. Why didn't he divorce her? Yeah, he should have divorced her. So it's Shabbos. So how do you do Kidushin on Shabbos? Okay. Sorry. But how could she use it? Anything she acquires is the husband's. What's the answer to that, Rabbi Isai? Based on what we said before, the Yisai having the same time, simultaneously. But the answer is Rava didn't know it yet. He developed that idea in this story right here. Ichsiv. Rava got very embarrassed. How could he tell the husband, give over to your wife, let her acquire a room in the house and do this whole kinyan, but whatever she acquires becomes his. And then they found out we had the exact same sugya. It's brought down on the side over it, Amud Beis, very similar, but also Rava, he was embarrassed, and it turned out in a different story that she was in Arusa, also the same thing. Only Arusa. She was only in Arusa, not Nusua. They said this halacha by a married woman, but not by an engaged woman. You don't have to come on to that, says Rava. Now he has the idea of the get and the chatzar come together. So yes, if he gave her the room, so it would become the husband. But no, at the same moment, she became divorced and she was able to be kind of the room, and therefore they have together simultaneously. Says Gemara V'Amar Rava, why was he so embarrassed? He already developed this idea on the top of the Amud. He didn't know it then. He was embarrassed because he didn't develop it until the story. Says Gemara, a guy throws a get to his wife and she's inside of her house. She must be there. She can't be on vacation in another country. Even though, and I said yesterday, I said it again, the Olam in Eretz Yisrael is in Tzvi today. That's where they are. That's where they go. Everybody from Yerushalayim is traveling now to Tzvi. She doesn't have to be there. She has property. You threw it into the property. It doesn't matter. But it says before in the Mishnah, she's there. This is what it means. It's as if she's there. She could be in another country. It's as if she's in the house. Why? Because it's being watched with her das, then that's why she's divorced. Let's say the svar of the machlek is like this. The marsav chotzim shum yodis rabbi. One man holds that a chotzer is like your hand. Your property is your hand. So if it's like your hand, you have to be there. No, a chotzer is like your agent. So agent is not next to you. Agent is in another country also. Everybody agrees that a chotzer is like your extension of your hand. Just like your hand is close, you have to be nearby. What do you mean? If you're going to compare your real estate to your hand, so it should be stuck to your body like your hand. No, it's like a hand. Just like a hand, you watch it with your intent. You have to be aware and watch it. And this comes to exclude a chatzar that she's not aware of. Says the Gemara, guy threw a get to his wife, have a kind of a chatzar, and she was in the chatzar. The get fell on a piece of wood. We have art today. Rabbi Isa, here it goes. So here's the new couple, because I told him I'm sick and tired of the guy that looks like Trump. So he did this. Okay, so here's a woman, and there's a piece of wood, planks of wood, smack in the middle of the chatzar. Goes, check it out. Here's the guy. Shmak. He throws a get, and it falls on this piece of wood. Let's check it out. How big is this piece of wood? How large is it? If it's 4x4, this might not be the perfect picture. It should be square. But okay, we're not going to go into the details here. It's not a good get. Why? Because it's considered its own domain. It's by itself. So what if it's in a chatzar? It's its own domain. The Gemara is going to say, who owns the chatzar? Who owns the piece of wood? What's going on there? If it's one owner, so then whoever that owner is she fine. Bilai, and if it's not 4x4, then it's part of the chatzar. So the Gemara, what are you talking about? If she owns it, the entire chatzar, so what if there's a little stage in the middle of her domain? It's her domain. The stage is also hers. He owns it. So, and if he owns it, so even if it's less than 4 amos, why should it be her get? She borrowed property because he said, listen, I'll divorce you. I don't want to touch you. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I'm not handing anything to your hand. You gross me out. I'll throw it to you. She says, but I don't own anything. So she says, you know what? I'm going to lend you part of my property so I can throw a get into it. Rashi says, I'm only lending you so I can throw a get. A person lends one area. Certainly to a woman that he's divorcing, he's not going to lend her 2 places. So a stage that's 4x4 is 2 places. Says here we go. If he throws it on top of something that's more than 10 tefachim or less than 10 tefachim, is great. Like over here, that's more than 10. Not 4 amos, then if it's more than 10 tvachim, it's not good. Less than 10 tvachim is good. Here's Yoshi's idea of Shem Levai. If you throw it on top of, let's say, a mailbox, what is that? You ask a guy, what is that? Mailbox. Oh, mailbox is its own chashivos. It has its own name, its own place. So therefore, if you throw it on top of that, it's not a get. Sorry, even though the mailbox is less than 10 tvachim. Even though it's less than 4 amas, not 10 tvachim tall. It's not a get because it has its own name. Have a wonderful day.